Hello and welcome back to Just an Average Metalhead. It is me, your host with the most, Matt, back again with a brand new series we are starting today. Today starts what I am calling the Rock Royalty series, and there is no better place for us to start than with the one, the only, Lemmy. For me, Lemmy is not just an icon of rock and metal, he's the icon. Born on the 24th of December 1945 in Stoke-on-Trent as Ian Fraser Kilmister. When he was 3 months old, his father left his mother, which Lemmy himself said is probably one of the reasons why he became very independent from an early age. When he was 10 years old, his mother remarried and they moved to Wales. It was at the Welsh Comprehensive School that he was at that he earned the nickname Lemmy, apparently, where he was constantly asking other students to lend him money. He would often be like, "Oh, lend me a quid till Friday." That's where he got the nickname Lemmy. It was also at this time where he discovered his love for slot machines, which he carried on up until the end of his life. He noticed a kid at school who played guitar was constantly surrounded by girls, which inspired Lemmy to borrow his mother's guitar and take it to school with him every day to see if he could get some girls himself, even though he couldn't play. When he was 16, he saw the Beatles play at what is now the legendary Cavern Club in Liverpool, and this inspired him to actually learn how to play guitar to their first album, Please Please Me. Like a lot of the rock and metal pioneers of that we look at now, the Beatles seem to play a big part in the reason why they got into the music they made. Just invaluable to all of us in this scene, you know. He also has said himself that one of the reasons that really drew him to the Beatles because they were still working class lads and they were just so sarcastic. Like, I remember in an interview that people sort of saw the Beatles as these commercial soft boys and the Rolling Stones were the tough ones. He says no, the Beatles were working class lads from Liverpool and the Stones were art students from London. If it come to a fight between them, the Beatles would have knocked the hell out of the Stones. In his early years, he he joined bands such as the Rainmakers and the Rockin' Vickers. But then, after leaving the Rockin' Vickers in 1967, he became, for a time, a roadie for the one and only Jimi Hendrix, which Lemmy claims this is where he got his love for the drug acid. Because why not? Why not? In 1971, sorry, brain's jumping ahead there, he joined space rock band Hawkwind as the bass player and vocalist, which apparently was just entirely by chance. The bass player didn't show up one night and he was friends with Hawkwind, so they had the bass player's equipment was there, so they got Lemmy in and there we go. In Hawkwind is where he sort of developed his signature bass style. He used a lot of double stops and chords instead of just the singular note playing like the normal bass player would, because he was used to being a rhythm guitarist, so he approached bass playing in the way a rhythm guitar player would. And yeah, just little did he know that this would become one of the reasons that he changed the rock landscape forever, you know. His biggest moment in Hawkwind, for me, and I dare say for everybody else, would be he performed lead vocals on the single Silver Machine, in 1972, which reached number 2 in the UK in the charts. And for me, it still is the biggest song for Hawkwind, and that's thanks to Lemmy, you know. In 1975, Lemmy, while doing an American tour with Hawkwind, was arrested on the Canadian border. He was arrested for drug possession for amphetamines, which the Canadian Border Patrol thought was cocaine. But later on, he was released without charge. But unfortunately for Lemmy, the the entire band in Hawkwind were fed up of his erratic behaviour due to him taking speed all the time and being up for days on end, fired him. Which led, in 1975, to Lemmy forming one of the greatest bands of all time, Motorhead. The band was originally called Bastard, which makes me laugh every time. But Lemmy's manager said to him that a band named Bastard was not very likely to get on top of the pops, so they decided to change the name. And as one little final jab in the ribs for Hawkwind, he named the band Motorhead after the last song that Lemmy wrote for Hawkwind. With Fast Eddie Clarke and Phil Filthy Animal Taylor, the legendary lineup for Motorhead was put together, and they soon started shooting up, and like success just came naturally, really. They achieved their biggest hit at the time with the Ace of Spades album, which I know to a lot of people that's all Motorhead is, but Motorhead is so much more than just Ace of Spades. But through Ace of Spades, they made appearances on The Young Ones, and yeah, they became a household name all over thanks to that album. And he always said, like, he doesn't get why bands don't play their biggest hits live, because that's what people have come to see. He says whenever you go see a Motorhead show, you will always see Ace of Spades because it's what people want to see. He was a person who, like, he always tried to do his best by his fans. Yeah, just Motorhead just became that epitome for me of, like, just balls to the wall, we do what we do. He was Lemmy and he played rock and roll, you know. Yeah, just like with their balls to the wall speed and just Lemmy's rough, like, growled sort of like vocals, not as in like death growl, but you know, he had that harshness to his voice. They were so unique at the time they came out that by the time the punk scene happened, the punk scene really just sort of started adopting Lemmy's vocal style. And yeah, a lot of even joined the Damned for like several periods of time, like during his career, because like he always said, he sort of saw himself more in the punk scene than the metal scene, but the punk bands loved him. Like Henry Rollins said that by the time he started getting into punk music, he kept he got rid of all his Kiss records and stuff, but kept his Motorhead records because Motorhead were punk before punk, you know, just living to the beat of their own drum. Motorhead have become a staple in the rock and metal scene like forever. Without Motorhead, we would not have some of the bands that we love today, like Metallica, because they were a big influence on the thrash scene, but there was also a big influence on the new wave of British heavy metal scene. So, like, we can argue without Motorhead, there'd be no Iron Maiden. And the tumble off from that, just, I can't even comprehend. But they became, like I said, they became a band that united metalheads and punks because everybody loved Motorhead. Like they were just perfect. Lemmy moved from England to LA in 1990 because he didn't really like the state of play that was in the UK, so he decided to move to America, where he first sort of started to frequent. Well, I reckon it was first, but he started to frequent the Rainbow Bar and Grill in LA once he moved over there, and it basically became his second home. Like, everybody's heard the stories of Lem used to get his mail sent to the Rainbow because he was there that often if he wasn't on tour. Oh, speaking of tour, I've heard the best. I remember, like, at Lemmy's funeral, I heard the best story about Lemmy. It just warms my heart. Um, the journalist Mo Rat was supposed to be going on tour with Motorhead for a bit, and he was good friends with Lemmy, and he went to Lemmy's apartment to get him ready for his tour, and like he knocked on the door. Lemmy answers the the door in like last night's clothes, just stinking of booze, and he goes, "Lemmy, you're supposed to be going on tour. Are you ready?" He goes, "Oh, all right, I'll be back in a minute." Lemmy goes back in his apartment. 5 minutes later, comes out holding an orange and just walks down to get in the car. Like, that was just I better take something to eat. Like, it didn't take any clothes, anything, just an orange. Just, oh, God. Yeah, Lemmy lived in LA up until his death. And, yeah, he became a staple at the Rainbow, where today they have a statue in his honour outside. I think it's outside. Lemmy is one that he was known for his hard smoking, always seen at the bar at the Rainbow on the slot machine or the trivia machine that it later became, chain smoking Marlboros, and drinking Jack Daniels. Yeah, he was known for like his love of Jack Daniels. It's one of the reasons why I got this particular lighter, because it made me think of Lemmy after he died. I've had this lighter since he died. Yeah, and his hard drug use, like he was known for he was like he's the song they wrote themselves. He was a speed freak, but Lemmy was more than just the cliche hard drinking, hard drug using, hard like women chasing. Even though it's said that he potentially slept with 2,000 women while he was alive, which boggles the mind really. He was somebody that he spoke out against injustice. He spoke out against racism constantly. Like the clip back in the day where he gets a letter from a young kid who's saying that they love heavy metal, but they keep getting chastised because they're black, and all the friends said it was white man's music. And Lemmy didn't care. He didn't. He always said, like, it doesn't matter what colour or race or whatever you are, there is a place for you in this music. Like, everybody is welcome. You know? And yeah, he spoke out against corruption in government, about organised religion trying to take over. He was a person for the masses. And I think some people forget about that and they just see him as the, oh yeah, Lemmy, Jack and go. No, he was more than that. He always described himself as an anarchist. And I kind of see that, you know. He lived life his own way, and it's so admirable. Not many people, once they get famous, carry on living like that, you know. But obviously, Lemmy wasn't without his controversy, as he was a collector of Nazi memorabilia. But in many interviews, he stated that he doesn't agree with anything that party did. Like, he's not promoting what they did, but it was just simply the fact is that their stuff looked best. He said like if the English or the American army's uniforms and machines looked as cool as that parties did, it would have collected those, you know. Unfortunately, this story comes to an end. On the 28th of December 2015, Lemmy sadly passed away at the age of 70, 4 days after his 70th birthday. He died of prostate cancer, cardiac arrhythmia, and congenital heart failure. He died in his apartment. The Rainbow Bar and Grill moved his favourite trivia machine into his apartment once they found out he was sick. And yeah, he sadly died at home. But being the man that he was, he died on the 28th of December, and Lemmy's last live performance was on the 11th of December 2015. The man played until he died, and you've got to respect that. I will openly admit, I was inconsolable when Lemmy died. Like, he was always, like, him and Ozzy were the heroes for me growing up, you know, amongst others, but those two, yeah, they were the heroes, you know. And yeah, I was just heartbroken. Unfortunately, I never got the chance to see Motorhead, but it's just one of those things. For me, Lemmy will go down as a true pioneer of rock and roll. No Lemmy, no music space like we have today, you know. He changed everything. And the way he lived his life it's the way I want to live mine, you know. No compromise. He was known for just doing what he wanted. For him, born to lose, live to win wasn't just a slogan on a t-shirt, you know. It was just the way that he was. He was amazing. He was the last true rock and roll outlaw, and you've just got to respect that. Ultimately, his name was Lemmy, and he played rock and roll. I still get emotional thinking about, like, Lemmy to this day. Like, he lived... yeah, not many people can say that no matter what, he just stuck with it through, like, the peaks and valleys of Motorhead's success. He didn't care. He just wanted to go out and play his music. Like, he was like, in his final year, even when he was sick, he was still going out and playing shows when he could. Like, he played his final shows, like his final show a couple of weeks before he died. And the amount of love that was shown for him at his funeral just proves everything. Like, Dave Grohl has out and out said time and time again, like, forget Elvis, forget, like, the Beatles, forget, like, Buddy Holly or anybody. Lemmy was the king of rock and roll. And he was known by everybody. It was just amazing, you know. So, yeah. Here's to Lem, the first in our series of rock royalty, and a true pioneer of just this great music that just unites us all. We all love this music. So yeah, horns up for the great Lemmy. Lemmy Kilmister. Hope you all have a good day. Keep the faith. And I'll see you next time. Bye.